Ladies and gentlemen of the MPO, I have been told that I would not be given equal time to respond to LeeTran's presentation about my plan from last meeting in October, but that I could give a response in the public comments portion of this program. I want to show some examples from last October's meeting where LeeTran has made dubious claims and in some cases outright misrepresentations of my plan. First of all, LeeTran implied that my plan violated Title VI and discriminated against poor people, but the map that LeeTran used to illustrate its point was never a map that I proposed or used in any part of my plan. Maybe LeeTran confused my plan with someone else's, but when I brought this to LeeTran's attention the day after the meeting in an email to Levi McCollum, the email was never acknowledged, nor was any apology offered. If LeeTran does not have any proof for this claim, should they not admit that they misrepresented my plan, and should they not apologize for presenting false evidence to this body? After all, has not LeeTran had 2 years to do its analysis, and has not my website been available to them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Secondly, LeeTran said that my plan did not provide for the timely transfer of passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, here is a meat sheet for the Edison Mall taken off my website. The colors in every column merely distinguish between different routes: purple for the 110, green for the 180, yellow for the 320, coral for the 140, and so on. We can look at any row and see that within a particular time slot, for instance, 11:35 to 11:40, that other routes come in and out of the terminal at the same time. You can see that approximately 5 minutes is allocated for the transfer of passengers at all crucial points during the day. Now let's take a look at LeeTran's own meat sheet of the Edison Mall. We can see that all during the day, buses are pulling out of Edison Mall just as another bus is pulling in. Take any time slot, for instance, the 12:30 slot. We can see that the 130 route pulls in at 12:30 and departs at 12:35, just as the 5 bus and the 140 South bus pull in. And then the 5 bus departs just as the 140 North bus pulls in. Although some senior drivers will wait for their connecting bus, a lot of newer drivers take off without even waiting. Even worse, we see that LeeTran plans for some buses to leave 5 minutes before a connecting bus even arrives. For example, the 5 bus departs the Edison Mall at 7:25, 5 minutes before the 130 bus from Summerlin Square is scheduled to arrive at 7:30. If someone from Summerlin Square wanted to travel to Kaiser University at the Forum, for example, and I have had customers complain to me about this very problem, they'd either have to wait 80 minutes for the 5 bus to return and then spend another half an hour on the bus, or the 5 bus would have to delay its schedule until the 130 bus came into Edison Mall. This is exactly why I designed the Pulse system to remedy this type of problem. It plans ahead of time for buses to meet together so that they can have a timed transfer. In this way, passengers can depend on getting to where they need to go in a timely and efficient way without waiting needless hours. Thirdly, LeeTran has accused my plan of assigning buses to hubs with inadequate infrastructure, such as assigning 11 buses to meet at Rosa Parks when only 9 bays exist. Here is my meat sheet for Rosa Parks. In this graphic, possibly LeeTran counted the 10 route as 2 separate routes instead of 1 bi-directional route, and it seems that they counted the downtown trolleys as 4 buses instead of 2. But ladies and gentlemen, is this not a public forum where LeeTran should have its facts straight before presenting them to this body? Why impugn someone else's work when one hasn't even done one's own homework? Finally, Even when presenting issues of possible substance, such as alluding to maintenance costs at Radar Court, LeeTran provided no actual data on the costs of maintaining this road. Should not the duty of the presenter be to provide all relevant facts for discussion so that the MPO can decide which facts or claims are relevant or not, and not LeeTran itself? After all, isn't the purpose of the presentation to allow the MPO to oversee the work of LeeTran and see if it conforms to the long-range goals and strategies that the MPO puts forth? How can it do that when it does not even have the appropriate facts at its disposal? Based on the aforementioned incidents, we can demonstrate the following facts. 1. LeeTran makes statements without proof, and they act as if those statements were true without substantiating them. 2. LeeTran does not offer proof or corroboration of their claims. Last October, for example, LeeTran claimed that they had tripled the number of meets at Merchants Crossing, but they provided no evidence on this. 3. LeeTran has presented false and inaccurate claims about my plan without apology. Presenting a map that was never part of my plan and then using that map to misrepresent and discredit my plan is just such a case in point. 4. LeeTran has made straw man arguments, false arguments based on inaccurate or false claims. For example, if LeeTran claims that my plan discriminates against poor people, and then it tries to make an argument that my plan does not provide adequate coverage, that argument is based on a false premise. 5. LeeTran does not even provide adequate evidence to support claims that could potentially be substantive, as, for example, as in not providing potential costs for maintaining a private road at Radar Court mentioned previously. If LeeTran were providing a fair and impartial analysis of my plan, why would they present claims which are demonstrably false and untrue or are inadequately presented? 1 year ago at the November work session meeting, LeeTran told the county commissioner that there was no other way to improve the transit system except to spend more money. I've taken the entirely opposite approach. I propose that there is a way to improve the system without adding more buses, and that the way to do that is to synchronize the buses so that they meet and reduce customer wait time. And I have the routes and meet sheets to prove it. I can demonstrate exactly what my plan can accomplish, and if I'm right, then it means that LeeTran has been misrepresenting the facts to the county commissioners and misrepresenting my plan to the MPO. Doesn't LeeTran stand to lose millions of dollars of funding for their plan to increase the frequency of routes in this county if they admit that I'm right? As I mentioned before, the Pulse plan does not hinder improving route frequencies, and in many cases, bus frequencies are increased with my plan without spending money and without adding more buses. Ladies and gentlemen, do we want LeeTran to continue addressing the MPO, offering erroneous and unsubstantiated claims, and giving incomplete and inadequate evidences of claims instead of providing hard facts and an honest and fair analysis? For my part, I would be more than happy to demonstrate what my plan can accomplish, but I should not be forced to accept second billing under LeeTran, relegated to the public comment section of these meetings. Give me equal time, and I'll be more than happy to compare my plan with LeeTran's on every point, giving facts to refute every bit of misinformation that LeeTran has dished out. Failing that option, my friend and colleague, Florida Gulf Coast University professor Nora Demers, has proposed having a trusted third party, such as the Center for Urban Transit Research in Tampa, to work with LeeTran to evaluate my plan and to provide their professional opinion on it. My plan promises to reduce the time it takes for a passenger to get from one part of the county to any other part of the county by many hours, and without increasing the number of buses and without spending millions of dollars. I only ask the MPO for the opportunity to prove my statements with facts so that I can demonstrate to everyone's satisfaction that this is, in fact, the case. I'm sorry and a little bit sad to have to be so blunt in speaking with you today, but when the alternative is between speaking up or remaining silent, telling the truth or accepting a lie, doing one's duty or doing nothing at all, it's better to take a stand rather than to lie down and have one's work be maligned without protest. Thank you all very much for the opportunity to speak with you all today, and I wish everyone happy holidays.